Takes a lot for us. Just
Hi, everyone. So we just started recording. Thank you so much to Jen and Janessa who joined us live for the filming of this video for our live studio audience. And we're so excited that you guys joined us tonight. We're going to be really talking about ending the year strong and about gaining momentum in your business and just some practical tips to do that, because I think we hear a lot about how to gain momentum, but sometimes it just feels like that's just an idea, and having some more practical steps is more helpful. So we're going to share kind of what we're going to be doing in our business, ending the year strong, and then we'll probably just have time to just kind of chat. If there's anything you guys are doing that's working for you guys in your business, we'd love to hear about it. Anything that feels like especially hard right now, we'd love to hear about that too, and we can share that with our businesses as well. And so before we officially get started, Kim and I have two exciting announcements that we want to share. And so I'm going to share one and then she'll share the other. But we are just so excited to share that we completely redid our new coach training. Like we can't even explain to you how excited we are about this new coach training. So what we did was it's going to launch next week, and it's a Facebook group that's going to be ongoing. And rather than posting one post each day, rather than waiting till the first week of the month to get it started, rather than any of that, what we did was we each found videos, quick videos, on what we felt like were the most important things for us to learn as new coaches. And then we also wrote up write-ups as well. So if you're someone who's a visual learner, you can just watch our video. If you'd rather just read it, you can read the write-up. So we're trying to appeal to both types of people. And then what we're also doing is we've already posted all of the posts in the group. And we have what we call a table of contents in the file section, which is just a document with all of the posts in order, with the video link and the description. And so you can go through it at your own pace. You don't have to wait for us to post it. That can kind of get overwhelming to get one more notification every day of like something else you're supposed to do as a new coach. And so what we did was we just felt like if we did it this way, you can go through it at your own pace. Whether you are someone who wants to sit down on a weekend and go through it all at once, if you're someone who wants to break it up however makes most sense to you, you can do so. We also love that it's like our faces, right? Like it's no longer just other random coaches that no one knows. We're hoping that by filming these videos ourselves, by doing our own write-ups, that it just really feels personal, and so it really helps our new coaches really start feeling like they're part of this family, that they have our support, and that this is a really personal group as opposed to videos from coaches who are higher up in our upline, or it just feels distant. That maybe it'll help people go through the training better and feel better supported if it's us. And so how it will work is we have a post that we filmed together. Kim and I just like a welcome video. Kim pinned it to the top of that page, and in the cover graphic, what we did was, it says like new coach training, and then there's a little banner that says click the pinned post to get started. So they click the pinned post. It's a welcome video. It explains how to go through the boot camp. It just like welcomes them to our team. It just, explains how the whole thing goes down, and it just says, tag your upline coach if you have questions, so that that's how we'll know if they're having questions through it. And then whoever is their personally sponsored coach will also be in the group with them, who is just going to be available to answer their questions and to go through it with them. But it's no longer going to be something where you have to wait till the first Monday of the month to get started. It's no longer going to be something where it's you have to each post one post a day, and then if you get behind, it's overwhelming, and all that stuff. We just feel like it's everything we feel like is the most important. We cut out stuff that we feel like could wait until later in your career to learn. There's just some stuff that it's overwhelming in your first week as a coach. And all of the posts are numbered in the group. So if you're someone who wants to scroll through the feed, you can just find the numbers and go through it chronologically. And so we'll continue to improve it, continue to add content as we need it. We'd love your guys' feedback when we launch it next week, just as you guys knowing what was helpful and what wasn't as new coaches, and also as people who are going to continue signing coaches, what you feel like would be best for your coaches, So definitely we're very open to feedback, and we're really excited about this new format, and we hope that it really helps bridge this gap between super excited for coaches to sign on, and then we don't really have the best format for them to support them. And so you guys have all felt that, but we're trying to improve it for people who join after us. And I know Kim is going to go into our new format for sneak peeks, for coach sneak peeks.
So just to one thing to add too is I think the cool part about the new coach training is no matter what time of the month, if you feel like, you know, because hopefully you're doing a coach post every Sunday, you're able to quickly say, hey, I have this group, I'm going to add you to it right now, and they can just go. You would tag them in the pinned post, and then they would just go through at their own pace. And we're covering like all of the things that we think are the most crucial that are kind of like forgotten. And I think you learn as you go. We're hoping that we cover all that so that people are just like, they have everything at their fingertips, and then they're just launched and ready to rock and roll. So that was kind of the hope, is that there is no waiting till the first. There is no waiting till anything. It's just already available. So that is that. I apologize for no breath. I have zero air today. I don't know where my child is sucking it out of my lungs, I think. Okay, so our sneak peek. So because the end of the year is so crazy, and it tends to be a time where we kind of try to coast, and I think that that's kind of where, and Josh Coates talks a lot about this in the Ending Strong video, which we'll post in our group tonight. But he talks a lot about how we try to coast, and by coasting, anyone under you is going to fall into that. And so our hope is that we can create kind of a plan for the next 3 months that is simple, that is, you know exactly the dates, you know exactly what's expected of you, you know, you can work on all your images now. So when it's Thanksgiving Day, you're not like, oh my gosh, I'm launching a group. Nope, you've already, you've got your month planned. And I know Britt and I are both scheduling out our months, which I think I'm going to share an image probably tomorrow with my dates, and then anyone who wants to join can partner with me through those. I've even got the free dates, that what those groups are going to be like, so you can begin to kind of think through the end of the year. But the goal is what, and he talks about this best, and I'm sure he says it much better than we do, but the goal is that we're ending, what you do today is really what gets you, is really what shows up next year. So like people, you're not going to get a ton of people who are ready just to be like, yeah, I'm all in December, because they want to eat the cookies and they want to not feel guilty. And unfortunately, we bring that out of them. So we have to, how we're going to do that. So our sneak peeks, we are going to do the same format as Brittany and I just did with the other coaches from Hard Hitters. And what it basically is an hour format. That's it, like from beginning to end. We did 6:30, and that seemed to work pretty well, I think. But we'll come up with those 3 dates. And if you want to be a host in it, you'll just have to film a video, and we'll have subjects for each. And it might be kind of fun to switch it up for all the next 3 of them. But then you'll basically, we'll already have the images made. You'll know the dates. You can invite people through that, throughout the months, and away we go. So basically the format looks like, we have a group page, and then you can just be adding people as that week's, or 2 weeks or whatever you're promoting. Somebody does a live video welcoming them, and then for the next 15 minutes or so, or every 10 minutes, there's a new video, and there's only 5 or 6. That's it, max. So each one of us from our depending on who wants to host a video, will host one, and that's it. And then people ask questions, and at the end we do a live question and answer, and all that means is we're on the call, we're in the page answering questions. So there is no live video, there is no nothing. I know it was successful for me for the one we just did. I had 2 people sign up, so I feel like that's something. And I think it flowed really well.
Yeah.
So that is our plan for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and I will share a graphic with my dates too. I have all my stuff planned out for the rest of the year as well, just with the free groups and when my challenge groups are going to start. I feel like having the plan might feel a little overwhelming now to be thinking about, okay, you already know when your group's going to start in December. But the reality is Kim and I operate on the same schedule pretty much for our month. Our challenge groups typically start the 2nd week of the month, which allows us to hit Success Club early, right? Because you're pushing early in the month, so you lock in Success Club the first 2 weeks of the month. Then the rest of the month is focused on inviting to the sneak peek, really helping your coaches succeed, and really talking to more people about the coach opportunity. And also what that helps you do is, so for 2 weeks, you're posting a lot about your next challenge group. And then the next 2 weeks, you're talking a lot about coaching and the coach sneak peek. And then the following 2 weeks is the challenge group. So what it allows it to do is you're not always posting about challenge groups, right? And you're also not posting about a challenge group that's starting maybe like 4 weeks away. And so people are like, that's so far away. I'm already, like, I'm not going to commit to that. I feel like I have so much time. And so we just kind of, once we figured out like that this is how we both like to run our month, it's really helped us gain momentum in our business because it's just clear, right? Like gaining clarity and focus, like just in our months. It helps us organize things better so things aren't as overwhelming. We're never like last minute trying to figure out when our group's going to start, when it's too late to start promoting it. So I guess I'm going to have to push it to the next week. And so it really just helps, especially as we're going into the season. It's going to be pretty tough because, like Kim said, people just don't care, right? Like it's almost glamorous to just not care about your health and fitness goals throughout the season. And so as we go into like starting to just kind of talk about momentum, which is what we're talking about tonight, it's just really important for us to not only have this clarity and this focus in our business, but then also to like stay consistent in these actions. And so when I was kind of thinking of like, okay, how can we end this year strong? Like how can we just continue the momentum in addition to knowing when our group's going to start, knowing what our plans are, so we have this rhythm of inviting to challenge groups, inviting to coaching, inviting to challenge groups, inviting to coaching. Like so that rhythm, once you kind of get into the rhythm of it, that starts to just be a lot easier. I know it made a big difference in my business when I started kind of having that rhythm to it. Then it also, like another thing I think that's really helpful is figuring out what are your goals for your business. And they may have changed throughout the course of the year. But I think oftentimes, and this is what Josh Coates talked about in that Being Strong webinar that Kim and I both referenced tonight, but then also just throughout, it just makes sense, is that in the beginning of the year, or even in the middle of the year, or even whenever you started coaching, maybe you had pretty big goals. But as we head towards the end of the year, number one, it's easy for us to coast, right? It's easy for us to let ourselves coast because we too want to lighten up during the holidays. And it's okay to not be perfect, just like it's okay to not be perfect all year round. But we need to be consistent because if we get this mindset of, well, we like lowered our standards for ourselves, maybe we didn't really want that dream, especially for those of you guys who are either watching or listening to this recording who really wanted to hit diamond because you wanted to go on that diamond retreat. You said you wanted to go. It's kind of easy now that we are at, September 27th. So we're like, if you need the cutoff, I think you have to hit diamond by October 31st. So you're a month out and you're starting to feel like maybe it wasn't really that important for me to hit that goal. Maybe I could just hit it next year. Maybe it's okay. Like maybe you didn't hit Success Club one of these other months. So you're like, I wouldn't get to go to the retreat anyway. So like, why even hit this goal? Like I could just really restart in January. What I want to tell you, and this is something Kim already said on this call because it's so important that it was just like, let's just share it. But like what we do, and this is actually something I shared in our team page today, but like what we do today doesn't impact our business today. What we do today impacts our business in the future. And so we can't let up on our goals and our dreams for this business because if we ever want to hit them, we need to keep going. Right? And so what we do today, it's that compound effect. If you guys haven't read that book, I think Janessa already has. But that compound effect of the consistent actions we do today make up over time, make a huge difference in the future in our business. And so for those, like, if you have that goal of getting diamond, or maybe just like Alyssa, you just started, you're already like killing it. But like if you're like, I'm gonna hit diamond too, like let's just do this. Let's start 2017 as the diamond. I totally think you could do this. Like we just need to like have our mindset truly believe that we can hit it. And it might mean losing a little more sleep, or it might mean jumping out of our comfort zone and sending like more invites than we thought ever possible. Sharing more parts of our story, just sharing more consistently, which I know Janessa has been doing an incredible job of. It makes a difference. Like people are seeing your journey and people are watching it. And then even like over time, like I've just been sending you happy birthday messages, and it's amazing that some people are starting to respond to like, oh, I love your posts every day. I've never seen them like or comment on anything. You know? So people are watching, so people need you to push for your dreams and push for your goals in this business, because they need to see you be consistent before they believe that they can do it for themselves. And so one of the things that I really liked though that Josh shared on this webinar, because I think sometimes we can kind of get confused and we start pushing so hard for this goal that we kind of lose sight of why we want to push for the goal in the first place, why we got into this business in the first place. And Kim and I are passionate about this business, but we're also passionate about it's not just about the sale, right? Like, you know, you're going to burn bridges if you're just pushing for the sale. Like, if you're just pushing for Success Club the last 3 days of the month, you might burn a lot of bridges because you're not trying to add value to people's lives. You're not really caring about them. You're just trying to hit numbers, because the more people you invite, the likelihood increases that someone's going to say yes. However, if you're consistently talking to people throughout the month, you're not going to have to worry about hitting Success Club in the future, because your momentum is just going to keep building. You're always going to be talking to more people, so you're always going to have people to invite. And those are the numbers that are going to start like adding up. And you're going to start getting customers from those people. And so one of the things that he talked about last night was, he said, when growth is your focus, you empower people. But when goals are your only focus, you begin to enslave people. And I think that that's such a cool quote for us as business builders and as team builders. When we start thinking about our goals and why we're pushing for them, we really need to be focusing on growing. We are trying to grow our business. We are trying to grow ourselves personally first. Another thing that he talked about last night was, you know, we have to be growth oriented, not just goal oriented, because our outward success is an expression of our inward growth. And I believe that, which is why you hear all the top coaches talk about how, you know, like it's life-changing and game-changing in their business to do their personal development, because they're growing internally and outwardly it's impacting their businesses, which then their businesses are starting to grow as well, and just how important that is. And so as we continue pushing for these big goals, and not letting up and not trying to give ourselves like, you know, the exit strategy or cut ourselves some slack, but we just keep pushing forward with this momentum, that we also do so with the right mindset. If we are trying to grow our team, we have so much to offer people. We know this is life changing. We're not just trying to hit that number goal, right? Because it's true, like as a diamond, it's not like your whole life changes when you hit diamond. Kim and I both know this. Like, I didn't get to retire from my job because I hit diamond. What you really want is not just adding people to your team. You want to add people to your team. Of course, you're going to have some discount coaches, but those people are amazing too, because they're on their journey and it's really fun to support them and encourage them. And sometimes those people end up being business builders as well. And so, but you also, in your team, you want quality people who want to build the business, because that's how, like when you hit diamond, that's really what's going to make a difference in your paychecks. It's going to make a difference in your motivation and your encouragement to have team builders on your team. It just continues to reignite the fire in you. Like seeing, I mean, I've heard before, but even just seeing tonight about like that screenshot that Maggie shared of Janessa and Maggie and Nat and Priscilla, and I know Jen normally calls into those too. Like you guys have like this weekly call, like that just like inspires me. Like, I want to be better. I want to grow. Like it's just exciting to me when people are excited about this business. And so don't just focus when we're focusing on these goals of rank advancement. Let's not just focus on numbers. Like let's not just focus on adding people to our teams or trying to hit that Success Club number, but really be focusing on the people and the lives that are being changed through the process, and growing ourselves internally so that we can grow our teams outwardly and have success outwardly. Because we have the right motivation, we have the right mindset, we're adding value in people's lives, and we just want their lives to change, not just so we can, you know, have a title, you know. So, and then as we talk about like pushing for momentum, Kim and I both shared we're going to share our time, our schedules with you guys, because those are like really helpful for us to gain momentum in our business. It's just in pushing for these goals, having the right, just the schedule to follow kind of simplifies it. And just talking about, I don't know if Kim's also going to talk about this, about like free groups, your challenge groups. I think free groups are going to be awesome. Like it's something that I'm really excited to do. Kim's leggings challenge next month with my team or with anyone who wants to join. I have a gun, funds, and abs challenge template that's already in our team page that like went over really well last month or this month, and so I'm really excited about that. And so there's just certain things that we can do to be gaining momentum. And I'll let Kim go, and then I might have a couple more things to share at the end. I just don't want to take up all of our time.
No, I think that's good. I was only going to add, I think the other keynotes that he talks a lot about. I think that it's so easy to procrastinate till the end of the month, and you know, you've got that goal that you want to reach, and all of a sudden you're like, oh no, and that is really when you burn the bridge, because it becomes the sale versus the person. Okay. And so I just think, like, focusing on, if you're really listening to people's stories and you're really connecting and you're really taking the time every day to really check into your challenge groups, and, you know, checking in with each person, and then, you know, making it a thing that each week you check in with, you know, I make sure I check in with each challenger that's in a challenge group, as well as I check in with, you know, people who are just continuously drinking Shakeology. But it's so important to check in with those people, because that's when you hear the great stories. That's when you learn that someone stopped diabetes medicine, or they stopped taking, you know, they get to go back because in 2 months the doctor thinks their thyroid issue has changed, or, you know, that's when you like learn about what people aren't always so giving with that information. But the more you pursue it, the more you end up finding out. And so I think just being really cognizant to hearing people's journeys helps you have the courage and the passion to really pursue people. And I think that the coolest thing, I think, in both Josh, I think it was a previous Josh Coates things, but he was basically saying, like, I think, if you're evaluating if Beachbody is really for you, there's a question that you should ask yourself. And I think we've all been through that question and maybe never came out with the right outcome. Maybe we kind of just sold ourselves short. But I think the question that what he asked is, he basically said, if you're growing and you're learning every day, then you're in the right place. Because if you're stuck where you are and if you're not growing and learning, and you're doing a job just to do a job, then you're going to have zero passion for it. But if that job is helping you grow as a person, is helping you grow as a parent, as a wife, as a friend, as a whatever, then you're probably in the right place. And it might not feel right because you're not having immediate success, but not to focus on that part. And so that was the one thing he said. And I think that was actually a different training. But then last night he kind of wrapped it up too. And he was basically saying, like, goals without growth are really not really something you should focus on. So it's great to have goals, but if the goals aren't pushing you to grow, then they're the wrong kinds of goals. And then the problem is that then you get that goal and you reach that goal, but are you really pursuing? Are you really changing? Because the outward can change, the likelihood of the outward changing without actually changing the inside is almost impossible. But the inside reflects what happens, or inside will then reflect what the outside shows. And so I just thought that was really, and I feel like that's something more to focus on especially in these next 3 months, is how you're growing as a leader, how you're growing as a coach, how you're growing in your fitness goals. I mean, let's be honest, this isn't just about other people getting through the holidays. This is about us getting through the holidays and not eating all the cookies and, you know, learning what balance looks like. And so I think that we have an opportunity to show people what it looks like to actually do well in what is when most people put on all their weight. So, yeah. And I think something I learned last year was, I thought January would be like the greatest month ever. And it wasn't. I remember it being like, I thought people would just be like, oh my gosh, New Year's resolution, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to do, and they would just be ready to sign up. But the fact of the matter is they weren't. And I can't even really think of what we figured out was the reason. But for whatever reason, it just didn't happen. And so not planning on something to happen because you think it should, because that's not really how this business works, right? So I would just really focus in on your personal transformation in these next 3 months. And something I was telling someone, one of our coaches yesterday, was don't just work out on a whim. Don't just do, each week you're working out, you're picking from BOD, and you're kind of moving forward, and you're kind of doing a program. Pick something. Pick a program, and you've got 90 days. I mean, you could do P90X if you wanted, but just pick a program and say, I'm going to see this to the end, and commit to that. And whether it's 260 days, or it's, a 60 day and a 21 day, or whatever it is, take this opportunity to really see something from beginning to end. And I think that if you can get through during this season, people will believe in you, and they'll come see you because they'll see your consistency. So that's kind of all I have for this evening.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I know that it feels like, on one hand, this year feels like it's over. And on the other hand, you feel like 3 months. Like, when you hear that, you feel like, wow, like that's like a significant amount of time. And so what I would say is, like, for action items when you get off the call tonight, is really take some time to figure out what are your goals. So, like, really reestablish them, and not just what are your goals in light of, like, the holidays are coming up, not just like your goals in light of, like, wow, it's really hard, so I don't want to set like really high goals for myself. But, like, what are your real goals for this business? Be honest with yourself. Don't let yourself like temper your goals because of the work, or because you're afraid you won't get there, or because you're afraid you don't know enough yet. Really figure out, like, what are your goals in this business? Like, I still really believe that I could finish this year, that Kim and I could both finish this year as, like, 5-star career coaches. And, like, last night I was listening to the call, and just, like, he got me all pumped up again, because he was like, don't, like, in the same way that I'm sharing with you guys, like, don't change your goals to adjust, like, what you feel like your reality is. Set your goals and push for your goals, because it's like that saying, like, whatever it is, like, shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you'll still be among the stars. It's like kind of like that, only like less, like, I don't know, like more real. Like, shoot for really big goals. And then even if you don't hit them this year, I'm very confident that I'm going to hit them next year. And I just know that because of, like, how incredible our team is. I will keep doing everything I can do, continue to try to improve and to grow. And that's all we can do. We can control our own actions. We have to, like, let it go when things don't go the way we want to, because just in the same way, another Josh Coates quote that I just love is, like, you're going to, like, sign up people to your team who you think are amazing, who are rock stars, who you feel like are going to be, like, the next top 10 coach, and they're just going to be amazing. And then, like, the next day, it's like aliens came and abducted them. Like, they start responding. It's like, they're just joking that, like, all of a sudden, like, their social media profiles are, like, deactivated. It's like, and I actually just had this happen to me recently. And so, like, we can't put all of our eggs in one basket, but if we continue to build our momentum, if we set our goals, and then if we have a clear focus, like, here are our goals, here like is my schedule for my free groups and my challenge groups and my coach sneak peeks. I know when I'm inviting to those. And then, like, it starts to, like, everything kind of falls into place. And then all we have to focus on is our 4 value behaviors and our power hour, which seems a lot more manageable than, like, trying to figure out, like, dates and, like, what am I supposed to post about today, and what I just posted about that yesterday, and, like, all I post about is a challenge group that's starting 4 weeks from now, and, all of this stuff. Like, it just really helps. And, of course, at any time when you guys need help or you have questions, you want to join one of the groups that we're doing, like, we're here for you. Like, our whole heart is, like, we just want to, like, answer your questions and support you and encourage you guys. And we're not perfect by any means, but, like, our whole why we're here today is to just support and encourage and love on you guys. And so just know that as it gets harder, that we're here for you, and that we won't give up. We will show up every day, and we encourage you guys to do the same. Do you guys have any, like, questions, or do you want to share anything that's been, like, especially hard for you, or do you guys kind of know what your goals are, or are you struggling with that, where you're trying to, like, you kind of started to readjust what your goals were because it just felt like it was impossible to reach this year? Like, where are you guys at?
I honestly haven't even thought about my goals.
Oh, here, I can't hear you. Here, let me see.
I haven't even, like, thought about it.
Oh, no, I can't hear you. Can you guys hear her?
I think it might be your microphone on your computer. Sometimes they're lower.
I need to hear everything you're saying.
I don't know.
No.
Just yell.
I think you said you don't even know what your goals are.
Oh,
I think that's what you
that
said.
was so fun. That was like charades.
I think what your lips said were, I don't know.
So listen, I would, it's hard to hear because I would love to hear like why, one of the things that helped me set my goals was kind of going back to first, like why did you decide to become a coach in the first place? And then once you sit down, you kind of really put into words. And I know that you started to share that like in your announcement post in terms of becoming a coach. So you've been talking about it and sharing about that. But one of the things that's like really helpful for me is like, because you don't really know like how hard to push, like, or what your effort level should be if you don't know where you're trying to go. And then it's hard too because you can start to feel what I started to feel, because for me in my journey, I started as a discount coach. Then I just thought it would be cool to be a hobby coach. And then somewhere in there, I wanted to go full time, but I had never really recognized that. So I always felt like discontent and like kind of frustrated. But what I didn't realize was like I felt that way because I wasn't meeting my goals, but I didn't really realize that that's what my goal was. You know? And so just sitting down and thinking like, okay, this is why I became a coach. Like, and this is like what I would love, like, you know, what my goals would be. Like, do you want to just cover the cost of your psychology? Do you want to start growing a team? Do you want to do this full time? Do you want to just, you know, like make enough money to like take your family on a vacation or to pay off student loans or whatever your story is? Like, you can do anything you want with this business. Like, right? It's just how much effort we put into it. And so I would totally encourage you to just sit down and think about it. And then I would like, if you want to reach out, like I would love to talk to you more about like once you realize what your goal is, like I'd love to help you reach it. You know? And it's also helpful too because if you realize, you know, I just want to be a hobby coach, then there's not gonna be a tension between like me or Jen or someone else trying to like pull you along with us who are trying to do it full time. You know, like we can support you and run at your pace as we continue to run at ours, which I think is, you know, it's really great because I know what it's like to feel like you have different goals than someone else does for you and feel like there's tension there. So, you know, but thank you for sharing that you don't know what your goals are.
Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me?
Is there a chat? No, we can't. I mean, I can kind of hear. Is there a, oh yeah, here, there's a chat option. Do you want to just type to us? Oh yeah, that's huge. Like finishing a program is huge. So for those of you guys who like just dialed in or just listening to the recording, Alyssa is group chatting, and she said, "I like what Kim said about finishing the program." I can tell you that that's huge. And then what's also huge is announcing that you're starting the program. Take a before picture, and then afterwards share an after picture, and then share your journey throughout. Because then people followed your journey, they saw that you completed it, and then they can see the results, which gives credibility to like everything else that you said, like sharing your journey, everything else, like home workouts, everything that people have doubts about. It's like you show that you got results, and they know you, they followed your journey, and it worked. So it's like it's huge for your business.
Plus, you also get free swag for completing it from Beachbody. So, oops. I'm about to leave. So then anything you complete, you can go online and fill out the Beachbody Challenge Group application thing, and you get like a free tank top, which is super rad that you then have to then use for promotions or whatever. So
yeah,
I would say that's probably one of the most crucial things as coaches that we're doing.
Yeah.
If we're not a product that stuff works, we're just talking.
Yeah. We're just taking selfies.
We're just taking selfies.
And Alyssa, I love that you said that you just shared in your challenge group today that you always skip on day because it hurts to hold your chin afterwards. I love your honesty. Like you kids can walk. Mom's arms hurt. But Janessa, what about you? Like, do you have like, what are your goals for business? Like, is it just a hobby? Do you have like rank goals or income goals?
Well, I know that I need to sit down and kind of reevaluate my goals because I initially started as just a discount coach and then moved to, oh, it'd be nice to pay off student loans and, just get help with things. But I really like the idea of being able to just do it full time and be able to do it from anywhere. And so I need to sit down and really write all that out and keep myself accountable to it.
Yeah, and I would love to see it, like, and talk to you about it once you decided, like, what your goals are and then even what your timeline is, because you can decide, like, okay, one day I want to do this full time and that looks like maybe 2 years from now, or is it I'm going to aggressively pursue this now and then, so because I would love to just better, like, support you and encourage you towards that goal. And I think that's awesome. That's exactly the same thing, like that I did. It was just a discount.
Yeah.
One day I was like, okay, pretty much like you did. You're like, okay, yeah. I've actually been doing free groups for like 10 months. That's cool. What? But so now it's like, it's clear. Just, I love watching your journey and just even like your posts and what you share about, like, you're just so genuine and real and inspiring. Like, I totally see like you being able to do this full time, especially just with your drive too. Like, you're so driven. And so it'd be really fun for us to just be able to like talk all day because we're both home.
Yeah.
Just checking into our challenge groups. Like, you and I both check in at like midnight. We could check in at like noon.
Yes, rather than like midnight.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I love getting the notifications that you and I are both like commenting on everything right now. I'm like, oh, I'm not the only one up. Okay, well, that's cool. And then I know for me, like earlier this year, like Tim and I both were like, okay, like let's go for like 5-star elite or premier. And I mean, now here we are, and it's September, and we're just diamond. Well, okay, like I'm a 1-star qualifying, and Kim is almost like she's one coach away from that. But I know for me, before I listened to that call last night, it kind of became easy for me to be like, well, that's like really not possible. But I also want to not only like set the example, but like also like challenge myself, like to like not like have my lower my goals to like meet my reality. And so I'm committing to like really pushing for that goal. And in doing so, really prayerfully doing it and like genuinely doing it, where I'm not just pushing for the goal, where I start to like put any pressure on any of my coaches who aren't ready for that goal, number one, right? Because like that goal really, one of the things that I like that, like Josh Coates talks about is just the importance of like leading by example, but then also just like how like as leaders, we're each leaders, right? In our own challenge groups, with our own challengers, like with people who are joining our team, or preparing to add people to our team, and just like the importance of like our mindset, our growth and personal development, our protecting that. Like, so I don't want to get ahead of myself, and so, but I really will be pushing to be 5-star premier, and we're just gonna see what happens, you guys. Like, stories like this happen all the time. So if we're all just pushing for our goals, let's do it. Let's just do it. 8:44. You guys, I love like these. Like, we're being really good about keeping these like 88%. Well, if you guys, again, both Janessa and Alyssa, when you guys like solidify your goals, like I would love to like talk to you guys about them and like help you game plan and like figure out what that looks like, and even like set timelines on it. So like, like I know how to best encourage you. You guys can also just like be honest with me about like how I can encourage you better. If there's certain things I do that don't really feel encouraging to you, because I know we all feel like encouragement differently. It's like I'm actually considering having all the coaches on my team take the love languages test, like the 5 love languages, so that I can know how to best like encourage and support each person, because we're all just driven differently and encouraged differently and feel differently. And so I'm really open to feedback too. If you're like, no, please stop talking to me. I feel like the most when I don't hear from you. So just let me know, guys. But okay, so I hope that you guys all have such a wonderful night. And you guys know how to reach me anytime. And if you like have any questions for Kim, you can reach out to her anytime too. She's always really nice about it for all my questions. And I hope you guys all can talk to me, Therese, and reach out to me anytime with any questions. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Good night, you guys.
Nice.
Bye.
Bye.